COVID-19 has you down, or you need some more cleanliness in your life, please check out our proud sponsor Psycho Soaps at their Etsy site, www.etsy.com/shop/psychosoaps. I repeat, www.etsy.com/shop/psychosoaps. Horror-themed soaps, anything you need over there, from crazy to cute, anything you absolutely need.
When there's no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth.
All right, welcome back, guys. I'm Rick A. Mortis,
And I'm Boris Lagosa.
and you listen to With the Dead in Life podcast. This is our first episode of Corpse Corner, the interview series. And our first guest on our show is going to be Bo Cooper. How you doing, Bo?
Hey guys, hey, thanks for having me, man. I know you guys have been doing this for quite some time now, and I appreciate you having me on this beautiful Thursday evening.
Hey, the pleasure's all ours, man. You got some. Go ahead and go first, Boris.
All right. First, I'm going to give you, since we're a horror show, I'm going to give you a couple horror questions. But first, I want to give you a couple pro wrestling questions because I know you've been in the business and you're a huge fan. And as a fan to a fan, I'd like to ask you a few questions here, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there a dream match? Because I actually did see the match that you posted on your Instagram with the Honky Tonk Man. Is there a dream match that still brews inside you, or have you had your dream match already, or is there any opponent that you would like to face?
Well, I've been doing pro wrestling, for 23 years now. I've had the opportunity, the pleasure, I should say, to work with a lot of legendary guys, coming up and down, traveling the States. Honky Tonk Man, the greatest Intercontinental Champion, was one of them. Superfly Jimmy Snuka was huge for me because, as a kid, I used to jump off my couch and do the whole, sign and land on my beanbag, thinking I was the Superfly Jimmy Snuka. Then the list goes on. I've worked with guys like Sabu, but if you ask me my dream opponent that I never got a chance to work with, on a grander scale, someone that was obviously a legend now in the WWE would have been Owen Hart. I mean, he was fantastic. Even as a kid, before he became the heel as Brett's evil twin or evil brother.
Right.
I used to watch him and pretty much mesmerized by his backflip he did as the Blue Blazer, and even when he was the Rocket, Owen Hart, I always looked up to his athletic skills, and he's definitely up there for sure. I always wanted a chance to work with Bam Bam Bigelow because
he's
a
one
lot
of
of
my
people
favorites.
throughout my career, of wrestling, has always told me I have the same stature and ability, athletic ability like him. Big old tattooed dude, 375.
Oh yeah.
And I got to be on a show with Bam Bam, but I never got to work on him. And I told him that one time. I said, "Hey man, it would be an honor and a pleasure to get in the ring with you and let's kick each other's ass." But both those guys obviously are no longer with us. But two of those guys, two of those the names that I just said definitely stand out when it comes to a dream match.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Bam Bam was one of my favorite wrestlers growing up. Definitely, loved that man. Could do a moonsault unlike any other. I mean, he could.
For a big guy, man, it was pretty.
Yeah.
A hell of a performer. My next question is pro wrestling related as well. Out of the main promotions here in the United States, Impact, AEW, WWE, what's kind of like your flavor? Which one do you like the best?
You mean as far as watching, or as if I had a chance to work for him?
Well, we can make it a two-parter. Like, first, the one you watch. Which one would you prefer to watch?
Well, I mean, the money, obviously, well, before all this COVID happened, I mean, it's crazy now because the fans aren't even there. But the money that WWE provides is obviously something that everyone strives to
for sure.
accomplish. But, like I said, I've been doing this 23 years, so my body's pretty broken down. I wouldn't pass the medical clearance anymore, because I have bad knees, bad hip, bad everything, because I've tore my body to shreds trying to make a contract happen, which unfortunately never did. But like I said, I've got my great memories of working with some of the biggest stars across the world. I've had the opportunity to wrestle in those 23 years. But promotion wise, obviously I wanted to go to WWE. ECW was my ultimate goal at one point. I was really trying to make that happen. I had some people pulling for me a little bit that were legends like Luna Vachon and Gangrel and a couple other guys that were there that was, hey, you would fit really well in there.
Hell yeah.
But as far as now goes, if I had an opportunity, I'd love to go to AEW just because I grew up with half that roster. I mean, literally, Young Bucks and me were really close at one point. I wrestled both of them as a tag team.
Nice.
I know, like Frankie Kazarian, Scorpio Sky. I mean, it's crazy. Me and my wife looked at each other and I said, this is a Southern California promotion, basically. It's like PWG, which
Right.
is in my backyard. Every time I watch AEW, I said, I've worked that guy. I wrestled him. But they're doing really well, and kudos to them. I'm not, being sour that I'm not a part of it. I think it's just a different timing and the style of nowadays wrestling. I probably couldn't hang with as much as I used to be able to. I'm old and fat. But yeah, the AEW, man, definitely would be a cool schedule if I had to be a part of again.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd been awesome, man.
And watching people that I once were in the ring with, make some money now and get known and recognized is always a cool thing to see.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. And I have one more wrestling question, and I'll go into the horror.
Yeah.
The industry as a whole, as far as pro wrestling, what would you like to see change, and what would you like to see stay the same?
As far as change-wise, I would say attitudes. There's a lot of guys on the independent level that think they're hot shit when they haven't. Oh, sorry, hot stuff. Sorry.
No,
You're fine. You cuss as much as you want, man. We cuss all the time.
Yeah, I try not to. I was always raised not to cuss, but sometimes it comes out. That's the wrestler in me, But
Yeah.
some guy, just overall egos in the business. It's sometimes it's frustrating because a lot of people think that they're hot stuff and they're not, and they haven't done as much as someone like I have. And I'm not saying I'm hot stuff, but you see guys nowadays fresh out of wrestling school that are getting booked all across the world, and they haven't really paid their dues yet. And back in my era, you got your ass kicked for a long time. You trained for at least a year. You broke down the ring, set up the ring just for fun. And then once that trainer says, hey, I think you got something now, kid. You paid your dues. Go out and show me what you can do. That's when you got, that spot earned.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of wrestling like that no more. Everything's changed when it comes to wrestling being so accessible now. Anyone can do it. Anyone can go and say, hey, I'm a wrestler. I went to school for a year and 2 weeks, and then they get thrown out there and they don't know what they're doing. But as far as positives go, I think that there's competition, which for the longest time, after WCW went folded, you didn't have competition. Vince was basically it. He went to Japan or Mexico. But now there's a lot of televised wrestling promotions out there, which makes companies work harder, so that they can keep up with one another, and I think that's always a plus.
Right.
Yeah,
Right
for
on,
sure,
man.
for sure.
I'm gonna go into horror now. Just
All
a
right,
couple.
cool. Yeah, let's dive in.
Just a couple questions of
I
horror.
like horror a lot better than pro wrestling nowadays.
All right. Horror industry as a whole. How do you grade these directors? I know we've done a couple reviews on Ari Aster films. We haven't done any reviews on any Adam Green films yet. I just wanted to hear your opinions on these new up and coming directors like Adam Green, Ari Aster, these guys.
Ari Aster definitely has something. He's definitely a new director that has taken horror and it's funny you should ask that because I was just talking about him recently. I think when I first saw the film Hereditary, it was pretty gnarly. I saw it in the theaters and I couldn't believe the direction it went because it was pretty slow burn at first.
Yeah.
And then boom, out of nowhere, you see something such horrific and grieving. It's a family grieving, and then the other demonic situations take place. But he definitely has an eerie a way of going about his films that I think is pretty awesome. I saw Hereditary twice in the theater, which is rare for me to pay for a film twice. But as far as his other films, Midsommar, there was a couple parts in that too that got me. That was like
Yeah.
The first 7 minutes of the movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
It is. No, it really is that part. First scene, when the music alone.
Yeah.
And you see, the sister with the tube in her mouth, from the carbon dioxide. It's haunting.
Yeah. It's like that's what we talked about too. It's like he captures death in these movies, in loss in these movies so well. It's like true horror to me. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It hits you hard. I of course love a good slasher, But when you have like this true horror, like that whole like the Hereditary, like the whole death scenes in that, and like, the whole loss, the funeral, like all the just the panning shots, like all that stuff is like so it stays with you for days, you know.
Right. The pan shots, the way he does it, where it'll show it from afar, and then
Yeah.
right away it'll show like slow motion or something. Like when I don't want to spoil too much if people haven't seen it.
Oh
but
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
it's definitely
yeah.
it's the best way to put it is shocking. I mean, because
Oh yeah,
it's not something you expect at the time that it happened.
yeah.
Right.
I love how he uses like not this won't spoil anything, but how he uses like he'll like use like a cry if someone's like crying, and they'll pan through multiple shots of a movie, like just like multiple scenes, and continue to
Right.
use the same audio of that cry going through it. Like that's like one thing I was it stuck with me.
Yeah, I mean, Hereditary definitely was. I mean, that movie scared me a little bit, which is weird. I mean,
Yeah,
for me to say that. I mean, it was something that I went home, and when the lights went off that night, when I went into my bed, to go to sleep, I thought to myself like, she's banging her head against the attic, the
Oh,
beginning
yeah.
part
The
where-
tongue
I mean,
clucking.
that's
yeah.
definitely up there, man. It's definitely
Yeah.
up there. So he definitely deserves an award, for some of his.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if he did or not, but if he didn't win an award,
might
he
have
should
won a
have.
Saturn. Did he win?
Maybe
a Saturn
I'm not
Award?
sure. I know what's her face, man. Toni Collette. She should have. She got robbed.
She got snubbed at the Oscars.
Yeah, she should have. Her performance in that was just like I think she had like to go through therapy afterwards. I
Yeah.
heard. She's pretty crazy.
Right. And I love Hatchet. I mean, I think that's one of Kane Hodder's best roles. Jason obviously is his best role, but
Right.
I love Victor Crowley. That character, he's all
I love
muscled
those
out,
movies.
deformed, and
Oh
it
yeah.
reminds me a lot like Jason. So it definitely plays a fun journey. If you're watching that movie, you definitely get taken back to like Friday the 13th. If you're
Oh
a
yeah.
fan of that.
We actually used in our original intro. We kind of changed and switched things up and changed music in different clips. But our original intro had the scene in Hatchet where he grabs the old woman by her jowls and rips her
Yeah.
hand apart. Because that scene like stuck.
okay.
I'm like, oh man, that scene is so brutal to me. Like it just stuck on my head. So I was like, I gotta put that in there, man, because that's like what an awesome scene. That it's the first like real like kill in the movie.
Right.
Well, it has that 80s. It has that 80s vibe to it a little bit still, which is awesome to see. But it also has the blood and guts, which is
Yeah.
icon.
Yeah.
The shock horror Tom Six type stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So, well, let me ask you guys something. What's your guys' upcoming favorite besides those two films? Name two movies that you saw recently.
We just covered. He's been telling me about like Jordan Peele's movies, like Get Out and what's the other one?
Us.
Us. I haven't seen Us yet, but I just watched Get Out for the first time, and I thought that was like from like people like more recently like movies coming out and different people coming out and starting like in the horror business. Like I thought that was really good. It was a really very original story. Like I don't want to talk about like give too much of it like as a spoiler, but like that was like way out of left field. I was not expecting that. They kind of come full circle. I really enjoyed that film. And we've really been enjoying. We just did covered two of them, but IFC Midnight films, like the Autopsy of Jane Doe, which is a few years older, but but that was like really good. And we just watched
What Keeps You Alive.
What Keeps You Alive. That's coming out in a few weeks. We'll be covering that movie. We just got done recording actually.
Cool. I'll have to check that one out. I haven't heard about that one yet.
Yeah. That's definitely IFC Midnight films have been great, and they're like very low budget, but like you couldn't tell because the production value is so good and like the storyline is so different. And the Autopsy of Jane Doe is great. It is very, very creepy and very well written.
Is it on Shudder or Prime or anything?
I think it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. Yep.
Okay, cool.
I got a question
What
for you.
about you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Boris.
No, I was going to ask.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I just had one more question. This was related to reboots. Is there any movie that you've seen in the past few years as far as reboots that you thought was good, and if there's any that you thought that they should have never came out with a reboot with?
Reboots. Let's see. I mean, I gotta support it just because I have a couple people that work on the movie, but I also enjoyed it. I mean, for them to take 40-year-old movie and re-adapt it is Halloween, 2018.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I mean, a lot of people shat on it and said, hey, why would you even mess with the storylines of, the sister not being, Laurie not being the sister of Myers and all that. But I mean, honestly, they had to give the fans something because people were demanding they wanted something.
Right.
So, Ryan Turek from Blumhouse, he's a friend of mine. He's definitely a talented guy when it comes to his mindset. Jason Blum, did a really good job. Produced. I mean, they took, like I said, they took a 40-year-old movie and they revamped it into where, teenagers and millennials and everyone else can see Michael Myers in a new brutal aspect and actually stick with some of the storylines. There were parts of it that I thought they shouldn't have done, with the whole doctor scene, putting the mask on.
Yeah.
I didn't dig that part so much. I think they should have kept it where brother.
Starting to lose you.
Yeah. Something along those lines. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Yeah, started to lose you for a second there.
Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed that one. Believe it or not, people say that they didn't like this film either, but I enjoyed the Child's Play. I thought it was fun for what it was worth. I don't think that they necessarily, should have changed his name and all that other good stuff. I know that had to do with licensing, but and some parts of it, was a little corny where they made you feel bad for the doll. And in the original, there was no funny.
Yeah.
There was no.
It was
Chucky
dark.
wasn't really evolved by the first one. He was just a straight killer doll, which I like better.
Right.
But yeah, I enjoyed those two reboots. I mean, I definitely could recommend those two if people want to check out a new reboot for 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think, like, some of these reboots, like I said, there's some definitely, like, we both watched the remake of Pet Sematary, and I'm not sure, like you didn't watch it or didn't like it.
I watched parts of it. I didn't like it.
I didn't like it. We didn't like it at all.
We didn't like it at all.
Yeah, I fell asleep, man. To be honest with you.
Yeah. It was just because the original one to me, like, I watched it as a kid, and I watched it again as an adult. Like I have a kid, like kids and stuff, so it messed with me even more as an adult. The whole like the funeral scene, and everything else, like.
Zelda.
But oh my god, yeah, and like the original movie is so brutal, and this movie, I just felt like I was missing it. I think it was kind of cool how they made the daughter be like the person because it gives her a little more like dialogue and she can speak and be a little creepy. But and they made her look kind of cool. But other than that, it was just a flop to me. It
definitely didn't live up to the first one.
Yeah.
In
No,
any
it didn't.
aspect. I mean, the scariest movie I've ever watched in my life, besides Exorcist, honestly, was Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
I remember saving my allowance to go tell my parents I was going to go watch, like, I don't know, I lied and told them I was going to watch a Disney movie, and then me and my buddy snuck in and saw Pet Sematary, man, and I literally, to this day, don't like watching Zelda, I mean, she freaks me the hell out.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
It's so real. It's just like the idea behind it. Like it's and they did just like
because I saw Zelda at a character at a convention. It's a dude,
Yeah.
Not even
Yeah, they didn't pick up on that until later on. Like I saw, actually, I got on Instagram, like I followed like horror history, I think it was, and they talked about the actor that played that part. It's pretty wild,
Right.
Yeah. Like we can talk about, like, what I'll get to. So how'd you get involved in Trick or Treat Studios?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's been one of the greatest, situations that's ever happened to me, man. I like I said, I was always a horror fan growing up. I was a pro wrestler. Those two things were my passion: pro wrestling and horror movies. I guess you can call those hobbies rather than a career, because I never really worked with anything in the horror industry. I was always just a huge fan. I actually met Chris Zeffro, the owner of Trick or Treat Studios, at Halloween Horror Nights. I had a Halloween 3 shirt on. He goes, "Hey, have you seen my masks I make for those?" I said, "What? What do you mean?" And he gave me his business card, and he was wearing a wrestling shirt. He had the Honky Tonk Man shirt on.
Oh shit!
So I said, "Hey, have you seen my video of me kicking the Honky Tonk Man's ass?" He goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah." And I showed him a quick clip. We stood there in line, and we literally just started, talking, and we had a good conversation. And he gave me his business card, and I emailed him, and I sent him some matches, and I told him anytime he's in town and he wants to, get tickets to come see me wrestle, he's more than welcome. Sorry, man, my dogs are going crazy in the background.
That's all right.
But so me and Chris just became kind of friends. We talked. I went to Monsterpalooza. I supported the company. I bought masks from him. I got from all my masks, Trick or Treat Studios masks, and I was just a big fan of the company and how good for $60 you can't find a mask of that quality anywhere that
hell
looks
no.
spot on to some of the biggest heroes and villains we've ever came across. So me and him became cool, and then I met Justin Mabry, who is his business partner. Justin Mabry owns half of Trick or Treat Studios, as well as Chris, and me and Justin became friends just through the convention life. And I was telling Chris, after like 3 years, I said of knowing him, we would talk on the phone once in a while, and we became personal. And I told him, I said, hey man, because I was at a job that I was kind of not too happy with. The money was really good. I was basically selling industrial equipment over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a telemarketing job because we were doing business to business. So we had accounts that we would call. I would call them and say, hey, you want to upgrade, blah blah blah. And the money was really good, but the hours sucked. It was 5 a.m. to like 5 p.m. and overtime a lot, and it was commission based.
Oh.
And I said, hey, this is after being there for like almost 2.5 years. I was making good money. I just was burnt out. And I told Chris, I said, hey, if there ever is a position that you need a salesman, you let me know. And he goes, well, I'll keep that in mind. So like a couple months went by. I actually got hurt in the warehouse at a big job, and I told them that I had to leave because I was on clinic, disability.
Mm-hmm.
And my back was hurt, and I told Chris, I emailed him a long thing. I said, hey, now's the time. If you need me ever, I would be honored to work for you. He said, well, let's figure something out. So then I started off with Trick or Treat Studios. He gave me a little job. It wasn't a sales job. It was to be a social media manager. I handled all the Instagram, the Facebook, the Facebook chats. I did everything when it comes to handling customer service through Facebook, through Instagram, Twitter. And I was doing that for about a year. And the position opened up in sales. And he said, hey, you want to do it? I said, absolutely, 100%. So I got trained how to, sell the Trick or Treat Studios products, nationwide.
That's awesome, man.
Really
Hell
cool.
yeah.
So it's definitely an awesome career, man. I mean, well, my career, my future career, because I've already had so many different little things I've done, like wrestling and the other sales job, but this definitely is something that I am proud of with Trick or Treat, working for them, because it's like a family. Number one, everyone cares about each other, and we care about the customers, not just a fly-by-night company that wants to take your money and give you a shitty mask. We want to make sure that the customers are happy with the quality, because, like I said, for $60, I mean, how can you get Halloween Part 5 mask that looks like that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I actually was going through everything last night, just like looking through the whole site, and there's like, you guys got so much cool stuff, man.
Really
It's great.
cool
like,
stuff.
yeah, definitely a huge fan.
Thanks, man. Yeah, we just updated the site. It was a different format beforehand, and now it's a better look. I believe it has a really good layout. It looks awesome on mobile, which was huge and important to us. So the whole new site is www.trickortreatstudios.com. Check it out.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I was really psyched on I love Hammer films. So seeing all the Hammer characters come out, that was just great. And like the whole bus thing is cool too. Like
we definitely were excited when we got the Hammer license.
Yeah,
it's something that a lot of fans, it's crazy to me, because I mean, me growing up, I never really watched them, but now that I have a whole new love for those films. I mean, I literally just watched The Horror of Dracula the other day, and it was awesome. Got to start watching them. I have a whole stack that Kristen would let me borrow. I need to throw them on the Hammer.
Yeah, hell yeah. We actually do a series where we do it's called Grindhouse Diner from Hell, and it's like we do it like the third Friday of every month, where we go through all like these old Grindhouse films, like a whole like 60s and 70s horror. So like I definitely want to get into do some Hammer films too, because I mean they're good. The British Invasion was just cool because just like they're just dark, and it's just like different. Like you have the original like horror movie characters, where
right.
like
Yeah.
so it's cool to see all that stuff come back, and almost like come back, just to see like actual, you got to the mask and everything was really cool.
Yeah, very awesome. Thanks for your support on checking out Trick or Treat Studios, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem.
No problem, man.
Is there anything you guys got coming out anytime soon? Like any sneak peeks or anything? Or anything in the works?
Well, we always have things in the works. I know that I can't say too much, but our action figures are going to be big. I mean, we already released at the Toy Fair our 1/6 scale Michael Myers Halloween 1978 action figure. Justin Mabry, he's the artist behind that, and he has, I don't know if you know who that is, but he he's one of the best, mask makers in the world, man. He produces some of the most detailed Michael Myers masks, in the world. And yeah, I mean, he took the time and the detailing to make the figure look identical to the movie, because there's been a lot of Michael Myers figures,
Yeah,
and
for sure.
a lot of the masks don't look anything like the actual shape.
Yeah.
They try, not knocking any artists out there, but this is one of those things where if you're gonna play with the big boys, you better realize that we're gonna come out with the best Michael Myers figure ever. So
Yeah, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, but our action figure line is definitely gonna grow. We came out with the 78. We came out with part 4 and 5 Myers, 2018 Myers, and Terrifier Art the Clown so far.
Okay.
Those are up for pre-order, and then next year, definitely, like I said, it's gonna be pretty lengthy of the characters that we have releasing.
That's awesome. That's awesome,
really
man.
cool.
Yeah, it's to me, it'd be like a dream come true to do something, to work on something like that, in the horror industry and everything,
Right.
Well, you can do it, man. I mean, it just takes the right timing and the right, I mean, I got lucky. I became friends with the owner.
Yeah.
It definitely, he saw the fact that I can sell, and I wasn't just, he wasn't just doing a favor for me. I mean, he did a big favor for me, but it was one of those things where he can't just hire me and pay me. It wouldn't make sense unless I knew what I was doing. So if you guys ever, find something that you can do. I mean, you guys are already doing something awesome. You guys have a podcast.
Yeah, thanks.
You guys are showing the world, the love and stuff that you guys really appreciate, to the audiences. So, I mean, I think you guys can do something, whatever you guys set your mind to.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. We that's what we wanted to start. Like, we have, like, the whole thing we wanted to talk about horror movies, but then we wanted to, like, listen, we can branch off and do different things, like, give, like we said, like, the whole, like, the Grindhouse thing, like, shine some light to some films that haven't been seen that people should check out. And then also we want to do the whole interview series, because it's like, listen, like, there's so many people out there doing awesome shit. Like, we want to, like, kind of, like, highlight them a little bit, and then talk about their company, and kind of almost like do, like, it's almost like free promotion for them, like, because it's stuff we support, and that's what we want to do. Like, just kind of like,
Love for the genre.
Yeah.
Share the love, of horror.
Yeah, because I feel like there's so many people out there just don't, like, really share love for, like, when it comes to other things. But, like, since we got on, like, we became friends with Psychosoaps, and Aaron and Psychosoaps, and she told us about Slasher, and, like, we've met so many cool people. And, like, just been people just constantly reaching out, and it's so funny, just, like, how you are kind of, like, nervous to speak to somebody, and here we are, like, having full conversations with people we look up to in the industry. It's pretty cool. So
yeah, man, try to get guests, and then if people say no, they say no, but you can always, don't be shy to ask and say, hey, it would mean a lot if you came on my podcast. Hey, I just started a cool thing too. I mean, me and my buddy, just for fun, we started a little Instagram page. We only have like 180 followers so far, but it'll grow, I'm sure. And it's something that we just said, hey, we enjoy beer. I love craft beer.
Hell yeah.
You do too.
And, yeah, man. I mean, I don't smoke weed. I don't take pills. I don't do any of that. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I love a good cold beer.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so does my buddy Rob, and we started a little Instagram weekly Wednesday blog. We're going to start showing, we're going to be reviewing one movie and having one beer per week, and show the fans what beer and what movie we're going to be reviewing. We had a good turnout. A lot of people, said it was pretty fun to watch, so we're excited about that. So,
Yeah.
Hops and Horror.
Hops and horror.
Yeah, it's Hops _and_horror _.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll make sure I put a link in there for it. But I checked it out last night. You guys at Children of the Corn.
Yep.
Yeah,
One of my top 5, man. I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. It's funny because I was going through kind of just like, just want to, like, I was like, trying to take this whole interview thing seriously, try to go through, like, someone's, like, feed and kind of see what they're about and everything, and to bring up a couple of questions. I saw, like, you with someone, like, someone who's in the skateboarding. Like, I saw a guy, like, a skateboarding in one of your pictures. I'm not sure if it was a friend of yours or whatever. But I was like, no, it's crazy that you did that, because Malachi, there's a huge, it was a shoe company and skateboarding industry called Lakai. And that's actually where they got the name from. Was they based it off of Malachi from Children of the Corn. Just kind of a little fun fan fact in there.
That, man.
Right.
Yeah. It's a huge company, huge skateboarding company. But like, yeah, just
Are
like,
you a fan of skateboards?
yeah, I grew up. I've been skating. Oh, I just actually got back into it. But I skated for like 20 years, and then
Really?
when I had my first kid, I kind of slowed down, and I work in corrections, so I was like constantly always busy. Just like working all this ridiculous time. So like, I just
I
started.
grew up in the skateboarding industry as well. I mean, I loved, skateboarding with my buddies. I was always in a fun skateboard growing up. So
Yeah,
one of my
same.
my good he's one of the most famous skaters in the world. I actually taught him. Well, I didn't teach him, but I helped train him when he came into the wrestling school at the School of Hard Knocks years ago, 2000, I think it was. with Mike Mullally.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, he's the lead singer of Black Flag now.
Yeah.
Sings for him. But he definitely is one of the most famous skateboarders in the world, and he was trying to be a pro wrestler, and he did become a pro wrestler. He traveled with it, and he did, a couple shows across the, globe, and
Yeah.
had fun with it, and he had a great following. And me and him, got the chance to do a little spot together back in, 2001. But, yeah, man, he was definitely one of the guys I looked up to growing up, as a skater. So it was cool to actually get a chance to work with him, in the ring, teaching him my craft. He was always the guy that I was looking at his craft to try to do, ollies and big flips.
Yeah, it's
I can't get on board now, though, man. It'll snow.
Yeah. That's how I feel too, man. It's like I was skinny as a kid, and now I'm just kind of just putting this weight on me. It's been, it's still fun though. It's been great.
We have an excuse though, man. Quarantine. We stayed home for so long.
Yeah.
Frozen dinners and beer and all that junk.
Right.
Yeah, man. We definitely will continue to check out Trick or Treat Studios. We'll definitely continue to check out your Hops and Horrors, man. It's a cool little series. Hopefully, we'll see that pick up and see some more with that, man. Be looking forward to it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Is there anything else you want to cover, Boris, at all?
I think I got all my questions in. If I have any more, I'm sure I'd be more welcome to have them back on. We'll have them
for
again.
sure. Hey, listen, one last thing. So your favorite horror movie of all time? You think it was it's Halloween Season of the Witch, or do you think?
That's tattooed on my head, man. I don't know
Yeah, no, I saw that. That's why I was bringing it up.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a sick tattoo, man.
That is sick. Yeah.
I actually got the inspiration. I don't know if you can see that right there.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't have any colors, but I'm a huge Halloween 3 fan. I love the whole aspect of the film, the witchcraft involved, and the holiday, and the way the darkness of the 80s, Halloween, vibe was. But if I had to choose one favorite horror movie of all time, I know it's cliche, and I know everyone. That's something that I was always just so mesmerized by as a kid growing up, watching the guy Michael Myers hide behind the door, and the blue tint of the movie, and the soundtrack, and just the score of the film, is legendary. So yeah, I'd have to say Halloween is my own.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely a great one. He's like.
But if you ask me my second favorite movie of all time, which would have been Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Part 2. Oh, it's
Caroline Williams.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah, we were just talking about that today.
Yeah.
We were
I love that film.
Oh hell yeah! We're just talking about how we see some of these people from these movies from so long ago, they look exactly the same. I feel or they even look better these days.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Caroline Williams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She looks great, man, and she definitely has a fun Instagram to look at.
Yeah.
For sure.
He told me, he's like, you should definitely check her out. I'm like, yeah. Well, we just talked about this 20 minutes ago or 30 minutes ago. Yeah, it's
she's
cool.
Super sweet though, man. If you ever get a chance to meet her, she's really cool with the fans, and she'll talk to you and really get to know you and talk to you a little bit. Unlike some people, that are just fast signing autographs and get you out of there.
Yeah.
She'll definitely chat with you for a while and give you a big hug, or probably not, man, I don't know about nowadays with the COVID, but back when I met her, she was super cool.
Oh, we lost you. Well, guys, sorry about that. We actually just lost Bill. Bad connection, I guess. Zoom, I guess let us down this time. But hey, listen, this has been great. That was Bo Cooper from Trick or Treat Studios, ex-pro wrestler. I'm Ricky Mortis.
And I'm Boris Lagosa.
This includes our first episode of The Corpse Corner. Hopefully you guys liked it, and we'll be checking up on somebody else soon. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. See ya.